thought I'd share a bit on how to put the Poi leash onto your fans today and turn any fan into Fan Voi. So this is how my Fan Voi is made these days. So I've got the fishing line to form the leash, a little swivel to ensure that you can go in continuous circular motions, and I use the elastic for my finger loops. When I'm free, I actually sew at the ends, but you know, when it's just a casual pair of fans, I just tie a knot. So here are the things you will need. So here's my elastic for the finger loop, and it's a lot of elastic because I accidentally bought 1 kilogram by mistake. You don't need that much really, you just need about a couple of inches for one finger loop, as you can see. Okay, next I have my swivel. Okay, this is very important, you definitely need a swivel, and here is a swivel from Home of Poi, and I highly recommend this for some heavy duty poi swinging. Okay, but if you're just a casual hobbyist like me, some regular fishing swivels will do. Okay, and they're a little bit cheaper and a little bit smaller. Now previously I used to use jewelry line, but right now I've switched over to fishing line. Okay, it's non-elastic and practically invisible when you're swinging your fans around. Now, one important thing which I'm using these days are these. Okay, these are jewelry crimps, and these were introduced to me by the lovely Ms Janna Beaufait, who happens to be very experienced in making her own costumes. And she gave me this idea of using the crimps instead of having to tie knots, and it's perfect because you can make sure that your poi leashes are just the right length and the exact same length for each side, which is quite important when you're playing with poi. Okay, so here's my screw. I use this to make the hole in the staves, just a very small one. Okay, of course you can use a regular screwdriver, but I found that using an electric screwdriver helps to cut down on the work. Okay, this is for cutting the fishing line. This is from my elastic needle, which will help me thread the fishing line through. Okay, again, just a small one will do. And pliers to squeeze the crimps shut. Okay, and that will hold the fishing line in place. Alright, so let's begin. So I'm going to start on the right hand side of my fans first, and you can tell it's the right hand because when you hold it, it opens up this way. Okay, the top stave is it's right under my thumb. Okay, so I'm going to make the hole right here. Okay, now you can choose either side, either the hand side where the short veil is, or you can put it on the long side. And how do I find the point at which I make the hole? Now I'm going to pinch it with my thumb and my forefinger on the top stave. That means the one that is directly under my thumb. Okay, now if I hold it too close to the base and let it dangle, this is what you're gonna see. It's not gonna open up very nicely. Okay, and the same thing happens if I pinch it up too far at the top. Now again, it's not opening up nicely. So you want to hold it about 1/3 from this end. Okay, and you'll see that it opens up quite well, and if you swing it around, okay, this is actually where you can hold your fan if you want to do the poi-like movements. So it's about 1/3 from the top, from the tip of the stave. Okay, and you can make a little mark with a marker if you have one, or a pencil, that does fine as well. Now, as you can see, I've got some newspaper underneath my fan, and you'll see why in a minute. So again, once you've got the point, I'm gonna make a little mark on it. And we're gonna do the same for the left hand. So with the left hand, it's quite easy, or vice versa if you did the left hand first. Excuse me. You can just put the fans together, okay, and make a mark at the same spot. There you go. Now once you've done that, it's time to make a hole in the stave. I'm going to roll up the newspaper a bit, so it's going to provide some support as the base of my fan, so that when I press down on it, okay, it's not going to put pressure on the rest of the staves. Put the stave on top of the newspaper, the rolled up newspaper. Make sure it's quite firm. Put the screw down and hold it in place. And we're going to go really slowly at first, especially if you're using an electric screwdriver. Okay. I'm putting my stave in place. Okay, I felt it go through, and now I'm going to release it. Okay, and there you go. The hole's been made, and my needle can go right through. So that's how I'm going to thread the fishing line through. Okay, so now I've got the fishing line through. I'm just going to thread it through the hole. Okay, and bring one of the crimps over. You can use two if you want to. But what I like to do is to put it through the crimp and make a bit of a loop. And you can even make yet another loop if you want to, if your crimp is wide enough. Pull the needle out, grab your pliers, and crimp it. There you go. Now if you want to make sure it's extra secure, simply tie a few knots. Now, if you like, you can take an extra crimp, push it down over the knots, and that will give some extra security. Take your penknife and cut off the excess. Now, for the rest of the leash, I'm going to zoom out for a while. How to determine the length. Now, what I would usually do is I'm going to hold it here and have it come to about midway down my forearm, because I find that this length works well for me, and also it's a decent length to loop around the base of the fan. Okay, because that's how I like to start my dances sometimes, with the poi loop looped around the base instead. So once again, I hold it, bring it to about the middle of my forearm. So that's my estimate of the length. Now what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put the jewelry crimps upwards, okay, and cut off an excess length of string. Put my swivel through, and thread it through that first crimp, the topmost crimp, the one nearest to my swivel. Okay, so I'm going to check the length again. Okay, and the edge of the swivel is going to be right in the middle of my forearm. Then I'm going to crimp it. There you go. So crimps make life very much easier. And same thing, I'm going to tie my knots. And I had that extra jewelry crimp, which I'm just going to push onto the knots. And I'm going to crimp it again. So just give it a good squash. And it's all secure. Trim off the excess. And now you're ready to put the finger loops. Now you can secure the finger loops however you like. You can just simply tie a knot like that. I actually like mine to have a bit of give, so I like to stretch it out all the way to the end, so that it can loop around the base when I'm not using the poi. So the fan still opens up very nicely, but you can slip it on any time by simply pulling the elastic up onto your finger. And that's how I turn my fans into Fan Voi, and this can be done for fans of any size. You just need to adjust the length of the poi leash. And I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message. Thanks for watching.